So as we said, to continue with security, because CCNA3 is a bit of security, we did study access control list. Now we are doing network address translation. So we need to translate a network address. You see this guy? We need to translate or to change. A translator is someone. So if somebody is speaking Chinese, the translator will change Chinese to English for us to understand. It's the same thing. So in Genograph, you have 20 PCs in your company. You only have one public. You need to change all these 20 PCs address will be private to only one. It's what we're going to do. So we're going to change it and to change them. So how it will be done? We have three ways to change them. We have static NAT, dynamic NAT, dynamic. We have port address translation with an interface or with a pool. It's very simple. So if you go in your summary, you'll see that you'll see what okay, anyways, this one you can read it, but I'm going to make it very simple for you. Static NAT. So static NAT, static NAT is one private to one public. Let me open Packet Tracer for you. We hope it's not going to hang our system like last time. Else I can maybe use a Microsoft Word document. Okay, let me explain. So for static NAT is one, I use one PC address, one private address to one public address. Let me use maybe the PowerPoint. We might have some examples there. The packet tracer is hanging. Okay, not this time. Okay, let's say I have a router here, and I have one PC, one PC, one PC. And these guys, we have PCA, PCA IP. Okay, let's say IPA, PCB. It will be IPB, PCC will be IPC. And this, so all of them with your private IP address. They are not routable. We cannot use them to go to the internet. So I have here three public with three private IP. So these PCs in my company, they need to go to internet. But me, I only have, when it comes to static NAT, I'm going to put the title here. Static NAT, static NAT. Here, one private IP, one private IP will be changed to one public IP. So with static NAT, one private IP will be changed to one public. It means if these three guys, they need to go to internet, in my router, I will need what? Also three public IPs. You must try to find these three. So for example, here I will say public one IP, public two IP, public three IP. So here, if I copy, can I copy and paste? Let me check. What is copy here? There is no copy. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Okay. So with static, three private, private. So if I can say private one here, private one IP, another private here, which is exactly what happened in companies. So this course has been designed for that, for you to get job ready. Okay, so when it comes to static NAT, inside my company, I have three private IP address. We cannot use them to go to internet. So if I want to use static NAT, one private will be changed to one public, you see. One private will use one public. One private two will use public 2 IP. Private 3 will use public 3 IP to go to internet. It means if one public address costs 10,000 rand, you as a company must buy them 30,000 rand. If you have 100, it will be 10,000 times 100, so it's very expensive. So now, how we configure that static NAT? So this PC A will be using a public inside my router to go. This one also has a private IP. When the data arrives in the router, the IP will be changed to a public to go to internet. The same thing for this guy is a private. When the data will arrive in the router, the IP will be changed to a public. So static, one private IP will be changed on one public. To do the configuration, this is how it works. So you open your router. You open your router. You tell the router which interface is inside facing the LAN. So let me do a demo quick for you. Let me delete all of these guys. Cancel to make it nice. Delete. and delete. So I'm going to make a quick demo for you, and then you'll see. So if you enter in a company, you'll see PCs only, but in the background, each PC has a network connected to a switch, and the switch is connected to the router. You should know the type of cable to use to connect a switch to a PC to a switch. So what type of cable are you going to use to connect a PC to a switch?
The Cat5 or Cat6 cable, Mr. Max.
Okay, but is it a crossover cable, a straight through cable, a fiber cable, a console cable?
A straight through cable.
Yeah, it's a straight through. So you must know them. That's why we say you're an IT engineer. You create. Something is not there, you create, or something difficult. You have a doctor of the IT. That's why we say you're an IT engineer. So you must know a lot of stuff. You cannot go to a doctor for a heart issue, and the doctor asks you, Denise or and Christina or Engineer One, can you please tell me your heart? Is it on your left side or your right side? Or are you still going to go to that doctor? He says a doctor, but he doesn't know where the heart is. So you must know everything, guys. Everything. That's why I say, even if you do networking, add a bit of cybersecurity. Add a bit. It will help you for your career. Because it's good to build the house, but you must also protect it a bit. For us, we create the network. Now, how to protect it? It's another team. So it will be good if you do a bit of to get a successful career, you must invest in your education. There is no other way. Yes, it's optional, but when it comes to choose someone for promotion, you have only CCNA. It's fine. Everyone has CCNA, but if someone else has CCNA plus something else, and something else will take you. So try to build your career at least every year. Try to do one certificate every year. After 10 years, you will see that you have IT certificates. Is that file still? Yeah. So build your career. Me, I did my CCNA at university. I think I did show you this one many times. I did my CCNA in University of Pretoria, 2005, almost 20 years ago. After that, years later, I did my my CCNA because me, I was tired and so I was looking for a job, and because I was alone. My parents, they sent me here to study, and after that, they say, you're a big boy, manage your own life. So I had to find a way to survive. So 3 years later, I wrote my CCNA. Then the year after, I was studying hard. I got my CCNP. You buy your videos, you buy your books, you study by your own. For 12 months, I studied too. After that, I did a bit of Microsoft stuff, ITIL, and COVID-5. Sometimes it's when you start a job, then while you're working, you see what you need or what you don't have, and you try to study to get it. But for you guys, for now, get your CCNA, add a bit of cybersecurity, you're good to go. Then if you work for MTN, if they say, okay, it's good, but we want you to add maybe this, you can add. or maybe you want to change department, you can. So I studied with Microsoft because after I work for CCNA and we closed South Africa office, I was offered a job for Microsoft. We say, for us here, we don't do Microsoft, we don't do Cisco, but we do Microsoft. You have CCNA, it means you know everything. Do you want to come help us? Yes or no? I say yes. So when I went there, I knew nothing. So I had to push 2 months to study hard and show them that I know. You see. Then I got my Microsoft certificate also. Let's see. This one is 2011, 13 years ago. You keep on building your career at CPUT. I studied also ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, 2017, 7 years ago. After that, Cisco had, so after Cisco, it's Juniper. We also do networking. This one, when I was at CPUT, we came to teach us, to train us, because, one also wanted to start that. So to start teaching, you need to get certified. I did the training. It's not easy, huh? Don't think that you just know, it's difficult. But if you want it, you sacrifice your time, your night, your sleep, and you get it. When you get it, you see. After that, what did I do? Mimecast. In the company I was working, it was introduction to mails in the cloud. So we say, guys, we need you to know that technology for us to do ABCD. I had to study. It was 10 years ago. So you build your career. Every year, with A plus, N plus. So now we call them IT essentials. I did my IT essentials. I did a bit of VMware. So in IT, we learn, we keep on learning, we keep on learning. Don't get only, I study also Fortinet cybersecurity. So we don't IT, we always study. That's why I say, please, 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 also on LinkedIn, become certified information system auditor, data scientist, Linux. So it's a lot, guys. Nothing is impossible, but every year, give yourself a target. I must get a certificate every year. You'll see that after 5 or 10 years, your CV is loaded. In IT also, there is no laziness. You must always study. At least 2 hours per day, or 1 hour if you want to. It depends on how far you want to go. So this is a small network. You can see this one is a small cloud, internet. We bring it here. So if you want to configure NAT, network address translation, network address translation. You need to configure the router to do that, to do a translator. Maybe this guy will speak Chinese, here they speak English, so the router will translate Chinese into English. So this is the translator. What config are you going to do? You open your router, enable conft. So here you have to tell the router which interface is facing your network, which interface is facing outside. So here we can see that G000 is facing my inside. Then you tell the router interface G000 You add, and you can give an IP address. IP address, let's say 192.168.10.1.255.0. Now you type IP NAT question mark inside or outside. Because it's facing inside, you type IP NAT inside. So first thing first, you must tell which interface is inside, facing inside, and which one is facing outside. I exit, I go to the other interface. G001 is facing the outside my network. I go to that interface G001. I can take IP NAT outside, and I also add the IP address. So let's say here, I put anything here. That 168. Okay, here let's say 190.190.190.1 255.255. To go out, it should be a public IP. It must not be a private. And no shut. The other one I even forgot. No shutdown. I exit. I go to the first one again, G000, and no shut also. No shut. You see. Now you can see that everything is green. I did add a IP, and also I did explain which one is inside and outside. If you have questions, please just unmute yourself and ask a question.
Sorry, sir. I just wanted to ask 190, that IP address, is it is it a class A or B?
Yeah, very good question. So let's go back to our revisions.
And also, I also
Yeah.
wanted to ask that 255 3 times dot 0. I thought we use it only for a certain IP address, not all of them.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, this one is a class C. No? Okay, let's check. Let us do a bit of research. We go to class A, B, C, Cisco. Class A, B, C. Let's see. Which one is clean and simple? Let me go to image. Okay, I'm going to use this one maybe. Let's see if it's clear. It takes time to load this guy. Let me try another one. Okay, so if you use class C, anything starting with 192.168 is a private. So you must not use that range to go to internet. For class C, any address starting with 192.168 is a private. Now, how do I know which interface is class A, B, and C, and all this stuff? Let me check something that's simple. Why the class IP? Okay. Else, I need to go back to our CCNA. Okay, let me go to CCNA1. Come here, CCNA1. Subnetting. Okay. So let's check our IP addresses, quick revisions. Mhm. Mhm. Send submitting IP address. Okay. Mhm. I want to see the range. Yes. Okay. So the range are here. So class A, any IP the first block starting from 0 to 126 is a class A. For class B, any IP starting from 128 to 191. And for class C, any IP starting from 192 to 223. So then is correct. So here, if I use 190, it's a class B. So in my packet tracer here, if I use 190, then it falls in class B. So class B, the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. So I need to change this one. So I go back. If you want to delete an IP address, I can say end here, show IP interface brief, show IP interface brief. This is the IP I assigned to an interface. If I want to remove it, I go to that interface, const IP, no, interface G0/0/1, and I type no IP address. Listen, do copy, run, start, and show IP interface brief. Now you can see that I removed the IP address that was on G0/0/1. I want to add a good one, like one. I go there again, interface G0. And also with Cisco is practicing. The more you do, the more you understand. The less you do, the less. Interface. So what is wrong here? Who can explain to us what is wrong here?
You're not in the global config mode.
Very good. See, I want to go to an interface, but I'm not in the global config mode. So I must do what? Conf T, you see? Then interface G0/0/1. Now I can type a new IP address that is class C. So 194, for example. 194, for example. Just an example. 255.255.255.0. Do copy, run, start. So it's a good question. So with NAT, it's also good to know what is private, what is public. Because you say I'm dealing with private to public. So you must know class A from which range to which range. Class A starts from the first block. Start from 0 to 126. Class B, the first block, start between 128 to. So if you know your class now, you should now know which one is private and which one is public. So private for class A, you see, anything started with 10 dot something is class A, private. You cannot use to go to internet. So class B is here, and for class C. So it's a good question. So please have a quick look and we continue. So anytime Cisco, you do revisions, you forgot something, you go back to your training. So if you want to configure network address translation on the router, first thing first, you must tell the router which interface is facing my network, my inside network, which interface is facing my outside network. When you finish doing that, then you configure and you do your config. So static NAT, after you tell the router IP NAT inside, IP NAT outside, now you write your configuration. IP NAT inside, it means I'm going to translate my inside source. I'm going to use a static NAT. You tap static. You take one private to one public. So it means I'm going to change this private to this public to go to internet. So have a look and we continue. Okay, so let us do a demo here with our guy here. So now I'm going to translate. For example, this guy here is 192.168.10.2. So I want to change this one to the interface IP here, G001. So I end here, const IP NAT inside. It means I want to do something from my inside network. IP NAT inside. Source, it means which way am I going to use? Is it a static, a dynamic, or what? So question mark, you see. You can list or you can use static. So we're going to use static. That is static. Now 192.168.10.2. So this IP, this private, I want to change it to a public. So which one did we use for? We're going to maybe to use this guy. So I'm going to change it to use this one. Do copy, run, start. Exit, show IP NAT translation. You see, it means my inside network, this is a IP, a private, is using this one to go to the internet. So if you see inside local and inside global, what does it mean? Anything you see inside, it means it belongs to me. It's inside my company. Anything you see local is a private IP. If you see global, is a public IP. So this PC is belong to my inside network and it's a private IP. So we say inside local. This IP, it belongs to my router. So it's inside my network. It's my router. It's mine inside. But because it's a public, we call it global. Now, if I want to reach a remote network, we call it outside my network. Outside my network. Local, it means a public, a private. A global is a public. So inside my network or outside my network. Local is a private. Global is the internet. Global is a public. So local is a private. Global is internet. It's public. So sometimes it's a bit confusing, but just take it simple like that. That's why you must tell your router which interface is facing your inside network and which one is facing your outside. So now, because this PC address has been changed to a public, now this PC can go to the internet, which is how it works in companies. All the PC's IP addresses, when we reach the router, all these IP are changed to go to the internet. So have a look on this, and we continue. If you have questions, unmute yourself and ask them.
Sure.
Yes.
So do you configure this for each and every PC or just one of them?
Very good question. Me, I like question because it helps us to understand more. So for now we are doing static NAT. It means if I have 3 PCs here, I have to do the same thing for each of them. It means what? It means tell the router which interface is inside and outside. After that, you need to take each of them to change. But I'm going to copy this one. I copy and conf. I paste. I paste again. I paste again. So it means if you have 3 PCs, you need to change each PC to a public. Each PC to a public. So maybe here is 10.3. Here will be .3. 10.4. Here it will be 4. The thing is, the public IP addresses, you must buy them. They are very expensive. So you cannot afford to do that. You cannot afford to do a static NAT in a company. That's why plan B, we have another way to do the NAT. We have dynamic NAT. Dynamic NAT, it means maybe I have 20 PCs inside my network, and I have maybe a pool of public IP addresses. Maybe I have 2. I'm going to copy this guy, edit, copy, edit, paste. Now we're going to do the second one. That is called dynamic. It's more cheaper. Dynamic. Dynamic. So with dynamic, I have we call it many private to a pool of public. It means what? Maybe I have 20 PCs, but only two public are there. So all these 20 PCs, if someone want to go, we use one of them. If PC2 want to go, we use the second one. Anyone else, we need to wait. we need to wait before these two private, these two public are free. That's what's in many private to a pool of public IP addresses. How to do the configuration? It's also simple. Cisco, it's very simple. The first time when you see, it seems complicated. No, it's not. Just get used to it. Read it many times, practice many times. After that, you'll see that it's not it. So no panic, just watch what I'm doing and just practice many times and you'll be fine. So you see here, dynamic NAT uses a pool of public IP addresses and assign them one first come, one first served basis. So how it works? Static NAT is simple, but very costly. Now we're going to do the dynamic NAT. To do the dynamic NAT, it's always the same thing. You tell the router which interface is my inside, then you facing my network, then you type IP NAT inside. Which interface is facing the internet the outside, then you type IP NAT outside. Now, here, you need to create two things. First thing, you need to create the pool. Then you type IP NAT pool, you give a name, NAT pool 1, and you specify the public IP addresses you have. So I have this one, .266, and I have another one, .240. This is the two valid public IP I have. And you add the network mask. It can be 2/24, 255s, or something. So you specify your pool to mention the public IP addresses you have. Second, you create an access list. The access list is what? I want to allow anyone inside my network to use that pool. Then you type access list 1. It's a standard access list. It's between 1 and 99. Standard access list. Permit anyone in my network, inside my network, to go outside. So here maybe it's /16. Then you use the wildcard mask. So you create your pool to specify the public IP addresses. You create your access list to allow anyone in your network to go out. So you just say permit your network, then it's fine. After that, you combine them. IP NAT inside source. I'm dealing with my source. List 1 to pool. It means combine, use my list 1 to use my pool. Use anyone in my network to use one of the public. So you combine both. IP NAT inside source, list 1. Don't change the number. List 1, then the pool, the name of the pool. If you write the name of the pool, the system automatically will know anything you added later. If you do that, it means anyone in your inside network will use one of these public address to go outside. So have a look, then we continue. So here, for example, so now a question. So our pool is a range. So it starts from .266 until 240. So it means I have 266 and 226, 227, 228 until 240. So I have a list of valid public IP. It's a range. It's not only these two. See, it's a range. So from this one, from 226 until .240, it's my pool. That's why if you tap show IP NAT translations, this private IP 10.10 is using .228. You can see that 228 is in this range. Another PC 11.10 is using .229. So this is how it works. In companies, it's exactly what we do. Even if you finish the course next month, you can still access your NET card for 6 extra months. So you still have time to come back, slowly to read, slowly to watch your videos, to practice a bit your stuff. And I'm still around, even if you are done and you need help. Hi, Mr. Max. I'm busy doing ABCD. I'm having issue with ABCD. Please, can you assist? I'm always there. So this is what we call dynamic. Now the most used is called PAT, port address translations. I can force anyone to use only one public IP. Then you do the same thing. You tell the router which interface is IP NAT inside. You exit. Which interface is outside. Then you create your access list. Access list 1, permit anyone inside my network. Then you type IP NAT inside source list 1 for your access control list, you see 1. All of them, you must use my serial interface IP because my serial interface is facing the internet, so it's a public IP. You must all use only that single IP, but you must tap overload. It means to force anyone to use it. You don't need to wait for a IP to be available to use. No. Anyone can use it. I'm forcing everyone to. That's why we say overload. Never, never forget overload if you're using port address translation. So check this one and we continue. We are almost done. Normally 10 minutes, we are done. So after this one, so we'll do some labs on that, so no worries. The other way of using port address translation is using also a pool. Instead of using only one and forcing all of them overload, you can use a pool. Configure path to use a pool. So as you know, if you're using a pool, first thing first, you must create your pool. Now the router, you tell which interface is inside and outside. You create your pool, IP NAT pool, you give a name and you specify your pool. You create your access control list and you bind both. So you tell a router which was inside, outside. IP NAT pool, you create your pool of valid public IP. You create your access control list to permit anyone to use them, and you combine them. IP NAT source list 1, or your access control list 1, pool, and the name of the pool, and you write overload. This is how it is. So you can also check that. Okay, so these are the four scenarios we will use to create network address translations. So we have static NAT, one private to one public, dynamic NAT, many private to use a pool, port address translation with overload. You force everyone to use one interface, you use overload, or use a pool with also overload. Someone is joining late. So if you go in your NetAcad, I made it very clean, simple for you. In NetAcad, we'll add more info. But what you need to know is this. Job interview, we asked you, can you please explain to me what is network address translation or NAT? You just tell them is a configuration we do in a router to change a private IP from a PC private IP, to a public to allow that PC to go to the internet. That's all, simple. So you can check that summary if you want to, but it's good to stop here so that you won't get confused. Watch this one, simple. I did make the recording. I'm going to put on internet. So this is it. Any questions before we close? Okay, so Always my advice to Cisco CCNA student, study a minimum 2 hours per day. Or if you want 1 hour, but you must always be in. So we did NAT, and that's the last configuration stuff that we do for CCNA3. Anything else is theory, is network management. They give you some advices how to manage your network. So for configuration, you need to know for CCNA3 how to configure OSPF, how to configure access control list, and how to configure NAT. Anything else is extra info theory that we'll do also. So thank you very much. If you don't have any questions, I'm still around. If you need more clarity or you're stuck with something, you put in the WhatsApp group, or you can WhatsApp me, and I'll be there to help you. Have a good evening. Study well, do your chapter exams, and we meet again next week, Tuesday.